No.
Do you see yourself ever going monologue? Like ever having segments of your podcast that's just because you monologue all the time on IG.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once the studio is built, my plan is to do 2 to 3 episodes a week. One of those will be a guest, but the others could be just myself. It could be a round table between me and recurring co-hosts who are people that I choose to be a part of the show. You know, I think it's really good to have a running development of personalities, like Schrader coming on every once in a while, and people get to know that person, and that's just another thing that pulls
It's
them
like
in.
Beetlejuice to Howard Stern.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Right. And I like that, so I'm gonna try to do that. And again, that's once the studio is built, which it's almost there. Just dropped an obscene amount of money on fucking equipment that should be here in the next few days. What was the question? I'm sorry.
No, I was just curious. So I always think like when I think about Rogan, right?
Yeah.
Or any of those guys, amazing interviewers. Or if I think of Howard Stern, amazing interviewers, and they went all in it. They never really had monologue.
Right. Oh, the monologue.
And monologue,
piece, yeah. I do want to do that.
Yeah, because I feel like there's some guys that rant really well. I think of
Well, you do it really well.
So I like if I could do anything outside of this, it would be if I could rewire myself. I could not do it genetically as I am now, but do stand-up comedy. And I would want to just publicly speak all day, every day, and just go on fucking rants. Very Bill Burr-esque.
I was about to bring up Bill Burr.
Yeah.
I was like, you know who does a great job on his podcast?
His Monday morning podcast. He does an amazing gig.
Theo Vaughn does a good job.
Most comedians do monologue podcasts because that's what they're used to. Yeah. Rogan is actually the exception to the whole thing.
Yeah, Rogan's just...
So it's really interesting. I'm always just curious when people are starting podcasts. So I've done a lot of podcast consulting where like, okay, let's set it up and this and the gear and all that is easy. But it's essentially, okay, what is the show going to look like? How many? When, and then what are the themes and styles? And generally I try to get people to do like an interview and a monologue style. I think it's so important to be able to develop a monologue.
Well, I was going to say, you've got to continue to develop yourself as a character that people want to come back to hear from, because you're not necessarily always going to have that exciting guest.
Correct. And even shitty monologues become great blog post. Give it to the copywriter, and she cuts it into a 400-word blog post kind of scenario. But the ability to rant and monologue is such an important skill. Like public speaking is like all my monologue stuff was the only reason I ever got paid speaking gigs is 100%. And then I created that entire series, that talking to myself, where I just film myself in the alley behind the building talking to no one.
That's some of the best shit, man.
But I just tried to make it seem like, okay, this is what it would look like if I would get to speak in front of 10,000 people. This is what I would deliver. When in reality, if 10,000 people were in front of me, I'd probably be shitting my pants simultaneously.
I'd need a few more of these.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I'm really big on anyone starting a podcast and like practicing the monologue, because I think it's so important. Or when the worst thing for any interviewer, which hopefully you never experience, is when the guest sucks.
Oh, man.
They're the fucking worst, and you're like, okay, this is up to me. I got to carry this thing.
Pulling
and
teeth.
And it does happen, and it's not that they suck. It's just that they're nervous, they're not good on interview, or they're typically very introverted, crazy smart humans. Like Rogan interviewing Elon Musk was more a testament to Rogan than it was Elon Musk.
I was about to say, like, that then becomes how good of a host are you, man? Yeah. Like, you got to... And presumably, if you're a good fucking host, you've already done your work and you know what you're in for, bringing this person into the studio, right? I've really enjoyed nerding out on all, like, the art of the conversation, interviewing the podcast. Like, I'm so excited for what we have coming up, you know, like some of the guests that I've already reached out to and had soft confirmations on and shit. And it's like, we haven't